Not everybody likes MMORPGs, but as far as I can tell, pretty much everybody liked Skyrim. So when Bethesda announced that they were developing an MMORPG set in the Elder Scrolls universe, a lot of people didn't take that news very kindly.
What we did is there had to be a large analytical process from the very beginning. Part of that analytical process was, well, what do Elder Scrolls players really like, and what do MMO players kind of want changed, right? And we concentrate on things like more world immersion, lots of interactive elements. We concentrate on things like a really fun combat system, visceral combat. We want to make sure that there's great PvP elements in it, and it's a great social experience. People want just a great RPG to play with, and that's kind of been the process that we've taken, and kind of the analysis of how do you take Elder Scrolls online.
It feels a lot like an MMORPG, like an action MMORPG, which is quickly becoming a genre that's in vogue. They have a lot of really clever progression systems built into the game that sort of mimic those of the Elder Scrolls experience. For instance, your skills level up as you use them, which sort of defines what kind of character you are inside the class that you've chosen, which is sort of like the skill progression system in Skyrim, which I really dig.
You also have to have a lot of freedom, and so one of the things we looked at is, okay, we just want to let anybody use any weapon, we want to let anybody wear any armor, and we want to build skill lines around those things to where it starts to feel like, oh, there's a real progression to, like, if I'm using a two-handed sword, I get better with the two-handed sword, but I also get abilities for using the two-handed sword, or I get abilities just by wearing my light armor around, and that helps me increase my magicka. That's been kind of the free form of the player choice there, is like, oh, okay, I want to do this. And then you start to see all these skill lines, and then you get more skill lines. You get the Mages Guild skill line, you get the Fighters Guild skill line, and that's just as you go throughout the world.
It still doesn't have that first-person feel that Skyrim and the other Elder Scrolls games have had, which it sounds like a silly little thing, but it really defines how you experience the world. So in that regard, like, it does kind of feel different from the Elder Scrolls experience you'd expect. They've promised that first-person experience will be a part of the game when it launches later this year, but I mean, later this year is quickly approaching, and for an MMORPG, that's going to take a long time to develop. You're basically talking about a second way to experience the game. So they've got a long road to hoe in that department, but it would be really, really great if they could get that in, because the world looks like Elder Scrolls looks, and the progression feels like Elder Scrolls feels, and the combat is fast, and it's different from the combat in the Elder Scrolls games, but for an MMORPG it seemed pretty fast and fluid. I just really, I just want to see my hands. I just want to see this, is all I want to see. So hopefully they can get that in the game, and if they do, it could be something to keep an eye on.